All right, today we're going to do a quick visual explainer on something super common but also kind of misunderstood: the urinary tract infection, or UTI. Let's actually see how it all goes down.
I mean, it's a great question, right? You hear the term UTI all the time, but how does an infection really get started in a system that's literally designed to flush things out? Let's follow the breadcrumbs. Okay, so first things first, let's be clear on what we're talking about. A UTI isn't just one specific thing. It's an infection that can pop up anywhere along this whole pathway, from your kidneys all the way down. Think of it like a trespasser in a very specific part of your body.
Now, to really get how the infection works, you've got to know the layout of the land first. So let's take a quick tour of your body's own personal and usually very efficient filtration plant. And here it is. This whole setup is working 24/7 with one main job: filter out all the junk from your blood and get it out of your body. And when everything's running smoothly, it's an amazing self-cleaning machine. Everything kicks off right at the top with the kidneys. You can think of these guys as the master filters. They're constantly sifting through your blood, pulling out waste products, and turning it all into urine. They're really the start of the whole assembly line.
So once that urine is made, it's gotta go somewhere. That's where these little tubes, the ureters, come in. They're basically one-way water slides, carrying the urine from the kidneys down to the bladder.
And the destination for that delivery? The bladder. This is a muscular bag that just acts as a temporary holding tank. It stretches out to store the urine and then, squeezes it out when it's time to go. It's the system's reservoir.
And last but not least, we have the urethra. This is the final stop, the tube at the bottom that lets the urine exit the body. And this exit route, well, this is where our story starts to get interesting. So you've got this perfectly designed one-way system. But sometimes an unwanted visitor manages to sneak in and cause a whole lot of chaos.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the whole point is for things to flow out, how does something bad manage to get in and stir up trouble?
Well, meet our culprit. And here's the key thing to get. The problem almost never starts inside the urinary system. It's almost always caused by these microscopic invaders, bacteria, that come from outside the body.
The funny thing is, these aren't some rare exotic germs. Usually, it's just common bacteria that live on our skin or in our digestive tract without causing any harm. The problem starts when they get moved to a place they really don't belong: the opening to the urinary tract.
Okay, so the bacteria are the front door. Now let's watch how this invasion actually happens, step by step, from the outside in. So here's the game plan. First, bacteria just hang out near the opening of the urethra. Then, they get inside. Now this is the hard part for them. They have to swim upstream, fighting against the flow of urine. But if they manage to make that journey and reach the bladder, that's when the real party starts for them, because now they have a place to multiply like crazy. And once those bacteria set up shop and start multiplying in the bladder, your body's alarm bells go off. The immune system rushes in to fight back. And that whole battle scene, that's what causes the inflammation and all the symptoms. That is the infection. Most people know this as cystitis, which is just the technical term for a bladder infection, the most common UTI. Okay, so we've toured this system, we've watched the invasion. Let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway here? Why does understanding this whole pathway really matter? When you boil it all down, it's really about this. Bacteria from the outside get into the system's exit point. From there, they have to fight their way up into the bladder. And once they're in the bladder, they've found a home where they can multiply and cause that infection. It's an outside-in problem. So seeing the actual journey from an outside source to an inside infection makes the whole thing a lot less mysterious, right? Understanding the how is always the best place to start. So now that you know the mechanics of it, what does that make you wonder about next? Thanks for tuning in.